Good morning, everybody. Guy Junker along with Josh Taylor here today. Ken Laird is with us, but he's over on the south side at Steelers OTAs. He'll be checking in with us a little bit later on. We're going to kick things off with something I don't think anybody saw coming, a sweep in San Francisco against the defending World Series champions Giants, Josh. The West Coast has been kind of a nightmare for the Pirates historically, even in years when they've won the World Series. And this has the makings of maybe even a season-changing road trip. They could go into Atlanta and take even 2 out of 3. It would be great. But I didn't see this coming, although the Giants had such a hot streak. They won 13 out of 15 and have cooled off. And as a word of caution, the Pirates have now won 11 out of 13, and they're due to do the same thing.
Guy, you and I, we have always agreed that as far as the theory that if you're a team that wins most of your games at home and goes 500 on the road, you're probably in pretty good shape. So if you told me going into this road trip they'd go out to the West Coast and win 5 out of 7 and sweep the Giants of the two teams, I would have laughed at you and I thought you were crazy. But that's what they've done. And in this 10-game trip, because they're now headed to Atlanta for 3 games against the Braves, they are now already in position to have already finished 5 out of 10 on this road trip. So if they get 1 or 2 games in Atlanta, you're in bonus coverage now. You're playing with house money. You're talking about 600, 700 on a 10-game road trip before you come back home to face teams like Philadelphia, Cincinnati, even though you haven't played well against them so far this season, has a terrible record, and then the Chicago White Sox, who are in last place in the AL Central. You have put yourself in a really good position to make some serious moves in this month of June. And, of course, this team already historically is a good team in June under Clint Hurdle. But now you can really put yourself in position to catch some ground on the Cardinals. Of course, they have to lose because they haven't really done that much lately. But you hope eventually that they come back down to earth. But all the while, you have plenty of opportunity now. You're in a great position to take care of business.
Well, you're looking at a point not that long ago where they're 9 games out of first place and slipping 4 or 5 games under 500. I said one of the first things you got to do, you got to right your own ship. You got to get back over 500. You got to get the Cardinals out of your sight for now. First thing you got to do is catch a Cubs. They're now in a wild card position. I mean, it's early in the year to be looking at the standings, but the Giants were ahead of them. That's who they've now tied. They had a great series against the Mets, who were ahead of them in the wild card standings. So they're making standings progress. You know, do you talk about wild card in the first week of June? I don't know. I think it's a step in the right direction. And I also think perspective changes now as you go into Atlanta. You said they would be bonus wins, they'd be gravy wins. I would have agreed with that. And I think Clint Hurdle and the players, when they went on the trip, would have secretly told you they'd be happy 5-5. But now that you started at 5-2, you're not going to be happy with that. You want to take this series.
And they shouldn't be happy with it. They should want to keep going. They should not settle for just 5 wins on this road trip when it's not over yet. They should try to make it 6. They should push for 7. And if they take those first 2, they should try to take the third and make it 8 out of 10. There's no reason why they shouldn't keep pushing. This is their opportunity right now to not just make headway in the division. They can go on one of those kind of runs that when you look back in September, when you're looking back in late August, you're going, man, that run in June changed this season. That's one of these things that they're capable of doing. And the thing that impresses me about this sweep against San Francisco, they faced adversity in each of these games.
Yeah.
They had really good starting pitching from Garrett Cole and A.J. Burnett and Francisco Liriano. But
their defense has softened up quite a bit.
Their defense made it harder for them, really. They really had to work around the fact that their defense probably didn't play as well as they should. But they did just that. They worked around their circumstances. They got runs when they needed runs. They went and took leads back. They got big innings. They put crooked numbers up on the board to either tie the game or regain the lead. And then when the time came to put it away, they score runs late to put it away. The bullpen holds it down. They did exactly what they needed to get each of those games in that sweep. And that's what good teams do. Good teams see adversity. They overcome it. And you have to be able to be in that mode when you're getting to the stretch run in September, and more importantly, when you're getting into games in October.
Plenty of good things to talk about. Anything bothering you right now about what they're doing?
The defense is my big concern. They're actually hitting, and they're hitting in
even a guy
bulk.
like Jordy Mercer yesterday.
Jordy Mercer is finally rediscovering himself. Jeff Branson talked about how he's working with Jordy Mercer on his hand positioning and where they're placed. They showed a great split.
He homers 2 games in a row. Now he's booting ground balls.
Well, I guess if you do one, you can make it for the other. But in that same token, the defense being what it is, the offense is making up for it. So right now, we could gripe on it, but it seems like nitpicking because the team is winning games.
All right. Should be a good day off in Atlanta before they get ready for 3 with the Braves.